I believe there are three key components in doing it successfully. At least that's what worked for me. First and foremost is knowing when to transition to the next level. I mean, typically, you're going to be starting a team because your business is growing. And for me, it grew to the point where I no longer had enough time for the administrative work. So I hired an administrative person. And then, in part because of the support I was getting from her, the business continued to grow. I needed help working with buyers because I was just 7 days a week wasn't enough. And that worked out real well. Our listings inventory really grew, and I needed someone to help me service all the clients we had, because that was, to me, I knew that was key, that I was going to still have to maintain that great client relationship. And so I hired someone to help me service the clients, and it grew from there. Another administrative person, another agent to work with the buyers and to service listings. And so the timing of that is very important. If you are too slow to react, then your business becomes stagnant. And if you try to grow too quickly, you begin to outpace yourself and the services decline. So that's number one. Secondly, I think it's very easy to, once you're firing on all cylinders, to think that you've got it now, you got it down pat, and you could put it in cruise control, and you can never put it in cruise control. You have to stay on top of your business, always try to reinvent yourself and keep ahead of the curve in what the competition is doing. And then thirdly, I realized, and anyone who wants to grow should know this ahead of time, the larger you become, the slimmer your margins become. And so you have to be mindful of that and make sure that you're still able to turn a profit. To be a successful team leader, there's a lot that goes into the sauce, but I would say there's three general areas that would be important to focus on, at least it was for me. First and foremost, when people are joining the team, one of the things they're telling you is they want accountability. And understanding the importance of structure and accountability is one thing, but you also have to live it as the team leader. I mean, do as I say and not as I do no longer works. You have to live the accountability factor yourself. And then, of course, in addition to the leader, the people that you have on the team is very important. When it comes to support staff, number one, first and foremost, you want to hire someone who has an "it's my pleasure" attitude. If they have real estate experience, also that's great. But it's really most of the things they're going to do, the support staff person is going to do, you can teach. You can't teach attitude. And then thirdly, the agents that you hire. Very important that the agents that you hire fit into your culture and that your visions are aligned. Where they want to grow their business aligns where you want to grow the team and your business. And that comes with practice. The more people you try to recruit or interview, the better you become at that. Well, I've gotten to the point really where I can tell from the interview process if there's a good high propensity chance that the agent is going to turn into a productive one. And it's almost counterintuitive that I can tell who probably is going to struggle. The engineering types don't make it in real estate. The person who has to analyze things 8 different ways is Sunday. Usually while they're analyzing, the agents who are producing are picking up the phone and getting the business. I think as far as attributes are concerned, age doesn't really factor into it too much. The challenge for agents who are very young, say early 20s, I mean, there's a lot of positives to that. And as a team leader, as a company owner, you want to keep the company young and have a nice mix of mid-aged, seasoned, and younger. The challenge with being very young is that so much of this business is about your network, and your network isn't as large when you're younger, number one. And number two, even if it is, you're in an age range where people aren't buying and selling real estate yet. They may be doing rentals, and that's great and a good way to get your feet wet, but it's not a very good way to accumulate income. Knowing what team members need to grow their business really goes back to that connection. You need to communicate with your team members every week. What successes had they had the previous week? What failures? What experiences they had? And then based on that, you should be, if you're an effective team leader, you should be able to guide them as to their next steps. And sometimes it's not that when things aren't going real well with an agent, new or otherwise, it's, I need that grand slam, and you don't. The bunt single is fine. It's just a little wins lead you to great wins. I'm not sure if there's anything more important than training. Agents, we as a whole live from deal to deal, and many of the experienced agents especially, while they're continuing to do that, they're not going to training, and they feel they have it down pat, they don't need it. When I look at the paperwork, I look at all our, whether we have a listing or whatever, some of the most egregious mistakes are made by the experienced agents because they stop going to training. It would be tantamount to Rafael Nadal said, you know what, I practiced my backhand this morning, I'm never gonna have to practice it again. Training, education is an ongoing thing. I ask the agents on my team to think of training as an appointment. If they had a listing presentation at 11 o'clock on Wednesday and a buyer called to go out at 11 o'clock on Wednesday, they would say, I can't, I have an appointment. I want them to look at training the same way. In fact, it's more important than one appointment because that's one deal. Training builds your career.